News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Monica Rix. Airlines have already canceled 750 flights today and delayed more than 400 as flight capacity cuts continue at busy airports across the country in response to the government shutdown. Air traffic controllers and TSA officers are working without pay and calling out sick, which Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says is causing chaos at airports.
You can't have controllers calling out sick and then think we can run the same amount of aircraft with less controllers.
Duffy says the situation could get worse, too, the longer this shutdown goes on. Airlines like American have said it's already impacting Thanksgiving bookings. The Supreme Court's let the Trump administration withhold $4 billion in food aid that a judge had ordered to be distributed to fully fund November benefits. But the administrative stay issued by Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson gives the federal appeals court more time to consider the government's request for a longer-term order, letting it avoid making that payment. For some, like Ishani Gaston in North Carolina, even getting partial payments is a relief.
Food banks don't really give you a lot. You get canned goods, maybe like noodles and stuff, or just small stuff, and most of them don't have meat. So if they do have meats, it's not a lot.
42 million Americans rely on federal food relief every month. Farm aid is still on the table even after trade wins in the Trump administration. Bloomberg's Amy Morris explains from Washington.
New international soybean sales are a boon for farmers, but farmers also lost an estimated $5.7 billion worth of soybean exports to China alone this year. And Republicans from farm states say the Trump administration still needs to send producers economic bailouts. The Agriculture Department can send direct payments to farmers affected by the Trump tariffs. Senate Agriculture Chair Republican John Boozman says he's also working closely with the USDA to decide who qualifies. But a multi-billion-dollar farm aid package has been held up by the government shutdown. In Washington, Amy Morris, Bloomberg Radio.
Pfizer's put in a $10 billion bid to buy Metsera. The deal hasn't been finalized, but does follow a big bidding war with Novo Nordisk for the weight loss drug startup. Novo said today, after careful consideration, it didn't intend to increase its offer and will continue to assess other opportunities for business development and acquisitions. Novo made an offer for Metsera last month to keep up with rival Eli Lilly. Qualcomm is out with a bullish revenue forecast. Here's Bloomberg's Charlie Pellett.
Sales are expected to be roughly $12.2 billion in the fiscal first quarter.
I thought Qualcomm looked pretty good, right? Numbers look pretty clean.
Jay Goldberg is an analyst at Seaport Group. He says you got to keep in mind recent gains.
The stock has run in the last 2 weeks because they announced their AI product, and I think that has people expecting some bigger upside. The AI product isn't going to be in the market until next year and isn't really going to be material until the year after that.
Qualcomm's profit last quarter suffered from a tax change, took a $5.7 billion write-down in the period, which contributed to a $3.1 billion net loss. Charlie Pellett, Bloomberg Radio.
Boeing is investing more than $1 billion into its 787 Dreamliner factory complex in South Carolina. The investment would help double monthly production and create more than 1,000 jobs over 5 years. President Trump says the U.S. will not be attending this month's Group of 20 summit in South Africa due to claims that the country's mistreating white Afrikaners. Trump claims they're being killed and slaughtered, and land and farms are being illegally confiscated. South Africa's Department of International Relations and Cooperation has said that's not true. President Trump's plans in Portland, Oregon have been derailed. We get the latest from Bloomberg's Ed Kalegi.
A U.S. judge has ruled President Trump cannot deploy the National Guard to Portland, Oregon, handing the president a major loss in his bid to send troops to Democratic-led cities to quell immigration protests. A federal judge Friday sided with the city and the state of Oregon, which sued to block the deployment of 200 Oregon National Guard troops in mid-September over the objection of the governor. The judge said the troops can remain under federal control while the government appeals the ruling, but they cannot be deployed. Ed Kalegi, Bloomberg Radio.
Good luck getting your hands on those new Barista cold cups from Starbucks. The coffee giant released them this week for $30 each, and they sold out within minutes. They're now selling on eBay for hundreds. And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Monica Rix, and this is Bloomberg.